Hey there everybody, Phil here for AndroidCentral.com, and look at that, we returned from CTIA and have a new phone to play with. Actually, it's one we've seen before. It's the HTC Legend Unibody Aluminum. It's made out of one piece of metal. And here's where it gets a little funny with that. There's no battery door, right? So where are you going to put the battery? We actually saw this in Barcelona. We'll take another look. There is a little cover that comes off, and there are little antenna contacts that match up right there. So how do you get the battery out? How do you get to the SIM card? There's a little flap right there that just pops open. See them? And then from there, the battery just slides out. And there's a little arrow at the top there to help make sure that you put it in the right direction, which obviously you're going to need to do. The SIM card fits right in. There's a little trick. It is spring-loaded. When I first put mine in, I didn't get it in all the way. So I didn't realize that at first. So if you end up with a Legend in some form, keep that in mind. Micro SD card goes right there. I don't have one in there right now, but it just pops in and out like normal too. So let's slide the battery back in and power this guy up. Battery really is easy to get in and out of. That's a nice little thing considering it's a new design. And while it's booting up, let's take another look. You've got the trackball, and the little ring around the black dot is a button. That's your center button. Then you have the home key, menu, back, and search. You have the earpiece speaker up top there. Nothing on this side of the bezel, nice and clean. You've got the camera and flash right there and the speakerphone. And here you have the volume rocker and the 3.5mm headphone jack and the power button. So that's the outside. It's really nice design, really well put together. It's not a very large phone. Here we'll see it next to the Nexus 1. They're about the same size. It's a little bit smaller. It fits in your hand a little better. It's not quite as wide, which is nice. They are both very well put together. The Nexus 1 isn't unibody quite like this is. Obviously a lot more metal going on with the Legend. It just feels nice in your hand. There's no two ways about it. And let's see what other phones we have laying around here we can compare it to. There's the Motorola Devour. Both of these are metal phones. They have a whole lot of aluminum going on. Feels really nice. It's kind of a nice trend instead of the old plastic days. Here's the Moto backflip too, just so we can pop it up there and see. The backflip is a little shorter, but when you open up the keyboard, you know, it's almost double the size of the Legend. It's pretty large then, but you can't really compare these phones, nor should we, but it's just fun to see them side by side. So here's the Legend. We've seen Sense before. We've already done a review of Sense, and we'll have a link to that in this post, but we will flip through it real quick. Let's start all the way on the far left home screen, and you have HTC's weather, which they're famous for. You have friend stream, mail, favorites, and you'll see a few of my contacts pop up. 3/4 of those were already there by default. You have bookmarks, and then you have an open one, so you can put your own widgets, your own icons, whatever you want. So, down at the bottom you have your launcher, your phone, and your add button. Hit phone, and you have the general, contacts, call log, dialer, all that stuff that you're used to. And if you hit the home button again, you get that cool kind of spread, just a new way to get to the home screen. You can pinch to zoom to get it. I'm doing a poor job of it here, but there you go, it worked that time. Something's wrong with my fingers. There you go. And you can also hit the home button to do it as well. And that's actually quicker and easier, I've been finding. So here's the launcher. Rows of icons, we're all used to that. There you can add to home at any time. Hitting that button is the same as holding your finger down on the screen. So you have a whole bunch of widgets and things to choose from there by default. And now let's take a look at some of the HTC features. Here's footprints. That's not new. That's been around from the old Windows Mobile Sense days. It's basically geo-tagging on photos. So you'll pick up Google Maps and notes and stuff like that on your photos. It's fun. I'm not a big, huge geo-tagger, but if you like it, it's there and it works really, really well. Friend Stream is kind of the big feature in the new version of Sense. It aggregates Facebook, Twitter, and Flickr if you choose to sign into these things, and then puts them all in a friend stream. So here you have Facebook updates, aside Twitter, and you can tell which is which by the little logos there. It's nice, it works pretty well. And if you touch on one, Now we're into Peep, and we see all tweets. Peep is HTC's Twitter client. So you have at replies, you have DMs, just like you would on any other Twitter client, and that's nice. There we go, just taking one more look at it. All right, here's the big mail widget that's on there by default. I like this. I think it's a really good idea. The problem is it doesn't do Gmail. It does Active Exchange and Pop or IMAP mail, but not the default Gmail client. And you know, if you're using Android, probably a good 8 out of 10 times, well, maybe not that much, but that's what you expect it to use. Here's HTC's weather widget and their weather app, and they've become famous for that. It's just beautiful and continues to get better every time we see it. Here you can go back to your favorites and you can add people. That's nice and simple. Bookmarks, we'll just hit one and open up the browser and see what that looks like. I am on Wi-Fi here. This is a European-only device right now, so I'm only on Edge with AT&T, just like I was for the Nexus 1 for a long time. So bear that in mind if you're looking at bringing one of those in. You're not going to get US 3G with it. Now you have different scenes. Again, we saw this in our earlier kind of preview of Sense, but basically scenes are preloaded home screens that HTC has put together. So say you want to have one look while you're at work during the day and one set of widgets and so on and so forth. And then when you leave and you go out for the night, you want to have another one, you have those set up within scenes. So you can have a larger calendar widget. So you make sure you don't miss anything throughout the day, and then you don't need it at night when you're out with your friends, and you just change the scene, so that's cool. There's the Add to Home button again. Exact same thing as the button on the home screen there. Let's dive into the settings and take a look. HTC did a nice job of just coloring these up a little bit and making them look nice. That's cool. Accounts and sync. Here are all the accounts you have. Again, the big three: Facebook, Flickr, and Twitter, along with the normal Google. And you have weather sync and weather settings as well. You can do Exchange out of the box with this. No third-party apps or plugins or anything you have to load, which is nice to see. Let's take a look at the storage. 1.84 gigabytes total space. Internal phone storage, you have 116 megabytes to use. Not a whole lot, so if you have a whole lot of apps, you could run into trouble, so just keep that in mind. And now let's take a look at some of the phone settings themselves. Software information, Android 2.1, nice to see. WebKit 3.1 on the browser. Everybody loves WebKit. You can learn more through these bullet points, which don't really tell you much, but they're there if you need them. So that's it. I mean, that's the HTC Legend. There's the clock. It's going in 24-hour mode right now because, again, it's a European device. I've already changed the temperature gauge over to Fahrenheit instead of Celsius, but when you turn it on by default, it's in Celsius. So keep that in mind if you don't like thinking and doing math in your head, which is certainly me. Here's all the little clock apps. Press the weather on the home screen, it'll take you straight to the weather app, which is nice. And then you can swipe through up and down through all the different cities that are preloaded, and you can add cities just like in Sense and TouchFlow 3D and like we're used to. So that's it. It's a quick look at the HTC Legend. Not available in the States yet, but hopefully it will be eventually. All right, take care, everybody.